It was 10 o'clock in the morning, and at Mr. Grimes' toy factory, work was well underway. Usually by this time, the Raggy dolls were up and about. But today, they'd all overslept. Sad Sack was first to wake up, hearing the sound of sewing machines.
Funny, what time is it?
He wondered. He popped his head up out of the bin.
Oh no,
thought Sad Sack, and dived back to warn the others.
Wake up! Wake up!
He whispered. The dolls opened their eyes in a daze.
We've overslept,
said Sad Sack.
Oh, bother! That means we're stuck in the bin for the whole day, said Dotty.
How boring, said Claude. Nothing exciting ever happens in here. But at that moment, two men looked into the bin. One of them was Mr. Grimes, the factory boss, and the other was Mr. Barsey, who owned a toy shop. They reached down and grabbed all the dolls. The next thing the Raggy dolls knew, they were in a cardboard box on the back seat of Mr. Barsey's car.
I wonder where we're going to,
asked Lucy.
I'm sure we'll find out soon, replied Princess.
Mr. Grimes waved goodbye, and before driving off, Mr. Barsey turned to the dolls on the back seat and grinned at them.
He seems friendly enough,
thought Back to Front, as the car pulled away. Mr. Barsey had every reason to be pleased. In return for a large order of princess dolls, Mr. Grimes had given him the Raggy dolls free of charge. Soon the car was on the motorway.
This is a smooth ride,
said Back to Front. Oui, it is most comfortable, agreed Claude, who was stretched out in the box.
I wonder where we're going to,
asked Lucy again. Hi-Fi climbed up on the side of the box and looked out of the car window. We're on a motorway, he said. Then he saw a sign, 96 miles to London. We're going to London, he told the dolls. At long last, the car stopped.
This must be London,
said Dotty, and she was right. Mr. Barsey carried the dolls into his shop. It was a very smart shop called Belgravia Toys, and for the time being, it was to be the Raggy dolls' new home. The Raggy dolls were put in a white wooden box and placed on the counter. On the front of the box, a sign said, "Special offer, free doll with every video game purchased." The dolls looked around their new home. Princess looked to where the real princess dolls were on display.
That's where I'd be if the factory hadn't run out of satin dresses and blonde hair, she thought.
She smiled at them, but the princess dolls ignored her. Just then, two women entered the shop. They looked at the toys on display and went straight to the Raggy dolls. Princess smiled politely at the ladies. One of the women picked her up.
"What a cute little doll,"
said the woman in an American accent.
"Why not buy her?"
asked the friend.
"Because you have to buy a video game first,"
said the woman, and she put Princess back in the box. Princess was shocked at coming so close to being bought.
"I nearly ended up in America," she said.
Dotty saw the danger too. We could all be bought by different people.
Yes,
said Sad Sack.
And then we'd never see each other again.
Well, I'm not smiling at anyone from now on,
said Princess. And from that moment, all the dolls pulled nasty faces at everyone who came into the shop, and it seemed to work. For the rest of the day, no one went near the Raggy dolls. Later that afternoon, a little girl came into the shop, followed by her chauffeur.
"I want to look at the dollies, Johnson," she said.
Very good, Miss Bunch,
replied the chauffeur. As the little girl walked towards the Raggy dolls, they pulled the nastiest faces they possibly could.
"Oh, what mean-looking dollies,"
said the little girl.
"But how different."
I must have one.
Then, putting her hand into the box, she picked out Lucy and held her up to the shop assistant.
Charge this to our account,
She said. Knowing what an important customer she was, the assistant did just that. The Raggy dolls had tears in their eyes. We'll never see Lucy again, they thought. Soon it was closing time. Mr. Barsey and his assistant locked the door and went home. Now the toys had the shop all to themselves.
We must find a way to rescue Lucy, said Dotty.
But how?
Asked Sad Sack.
We don't know where she's gone to live.
Suddenly, the robot who was standing on the counter spoke.
Hello, I am Roger the Robot. Have a nice day, you're welcome. Look in the accounts file under B for Bunch.
Dotty thanked the robot and was soon looking through the file.
Here it is,
She said. On the card it said, Miss Mariana Bunch, care of Lord and Lady Bunch, 34 Eaton Terrace, Southwest 1. And that's where Lucy was at that very moment.
What a floppy doll you are, said the little girl. I shall call you Floppy.
Lucy hated the name, but there was nothing she could do.
Floppy do this, Floppy do that.
On and on went the little girl, pulling at Lucy's arms and legs, until finally one came off in her hand.
You stupid thing,
shouted the girl. Then, in a fit of temper, she pulled Lucy to pieces and left her scattered all around the playroom. Later that night, the Raggy dolls set off to the rescue. With the help of a street map, they found where the little girl lived. Hi-Fi soon discovered a cat flap in the back door. Inside, the lights were out, and everyone had gone to bed. Hi-Fi led the way up the stairs. Upstairs, the rooms all had door signs. Lord and Lady Bunch, Miss Mariana Bunch, and finally, Playroom.
She must be in there,
whispered Dotty. They pushed open the door and went inside. There were toys everywhere.
Lucy, where are you?
Called Dotty.
I'm over here.
Lucy replied.
And over there. And over there. And over there, too.
She pointed all around the room with her nose. The dolls collected Lucy together again and set off back to the shop. As they were climbing through the window, Sad Sack slipped and fell. He landed in a dustbin that was full of rubbish. The smell was so terrible that none of the other dolls would go near him. So Sad Sack clambered out by himself.
I don't care, he said. No one will buy me if I smell like this.
The dolls realized that Sad Sack was right, and they all dived headfirst into the smelly dustbin. The next morning, when Mr. Barsey opened the shop, he noticed a terrible pong. As he went nearer the dolls, it became worse. Phew! It's those Raggy dolls. They smell disgusting. Send them back to Grimes at once. But by the time the dolls arrived back at the factory, the smell had worn off. I can't even give them away, thought Mr. Grimes. They'll have to stay in the reject bin.